Yeah, hello everyone. Kim and Patricia are back with it's already regular business update. How did we call that? Business update, right? Number
I think
three. Hi
so.
Kim.
Yeah.
Hi Kim. Looking
Hi,
forward to chatting
Patricia.
with you.
Yes, same here.
Yeah. I can't believe it. It's already month three of our journey together. And why don't we jump straight in? Do you want to start? What has happened in the last 4 weeks in
Yeah,
your
well,
world?
for starters, how is it October already? I I was online or something earlier today and somebody said something about that it's October 1st and I'm like, "Wait, it is? How did that happen?"
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
we need to clarify that usually we meet at the end of the month, but because of life, we meet today on October 1st.
Yes, yes. It's a good way to wrap up the old month and bring in the new month for sure.
Yeah.
So for me personally, I've had just a lot of just kind of personal life stuff go on. So it's not, I don't have as much maybe as an update as I otherwise would have, but it's still been full. It's still been moving forward. And sometimes, forward progress is forward progress. So we'll take it. So I'm trying to think. I've had a couple of follow-up appointments with other existing clients. I have another client booked for next week that's new, so that's exciting. I'm also doing a seminar next week, which I'm still putting together, but it's so cool because God has just kept putting more and more information in front of me that to include in the seminar. So it's like, oh, I think I've got it. Oh, but wait, here's this, this amazing book that I want to include this information on, or oh, here's this another amazing resource or podcast that I need to listen to because I think it'll be amazing to include. So that's been kind of keeping me busy. The biggest hurdle, and I'm looking around to see if I have one near me. I don't. But people will just have to follow me on social media to see what I created. But I made some bookmarks through Canva to include in a mental health conference. So I got those done and given over to the woman who's hosting that. So it was a bigger endeavor than I thought. I think they turned out really cute, but if you think about it from a logistics standpoint, you've got a front of a bookmark and a back of a bookmark. You've got to get it all lined up. And then I went to the printers 3 different times to get them to print because the weight of the paper that I wanted to use, they couldn't like just feed it through automatically. They had to manually feed it through. So then when they would put the one side, everything is fine. Then they flip it over on the other side and feed it back through, and things were just not lined up properly,
Oh
like
no.
at all. And so finally, they were able to get it close enough to where it was, presentable. But then the others I just printed through Canva and they came yesterday and it's beautiful. Everything's lined up. Everything is just exactly where I wanted it to be. So I count that as a win. We talked, I think, last time briefly. Part of this journey that's tricky is learning. You've got to be a marketing expert, I don't know, a financial expert. You got to have all these other tool sets instead of just helping people, which is what I want to do. So,
Yeah, yeah. And didn't you say that there was I'm not sure, didn't you have another seminar in between, a 1 day conference or so? Am I getting that
oh,
wrong? I
you know,
thought you had one other intervention.
there is. Thank you for that reminder. So, no, it wasn't a seminar, but there was a 3-day training that I helped with Thea Roth.
Yeah.
Yes. See, I'm glad I have you to keep me straight. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. Yeah. But that was amazing, to get to not just meet, but be able to get to rub shoulders with and get to know these beautiful women who are taking on this modality to kind of go and help people also. So just like-minded people that want to see people whole and heal and healthy. It was just really beautiful. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So that's me. That's my past 4 weeks.
Well, yeah, basically nothing happened in the last 4 weeks.
Well, it's so funny. I actually wrote this down because I need to do a session on myself. I realized earlier today that I was feeling like I should be further along than I am right now. And I started thinking about that. And I'm like, wow, what a lie that is. If I sat
Yeah.
down and really have this conversation with you or think about, and I went back through and I didn't actually even have my final for the course, and I know yours was delayed also, it was like June, middle of June. So I'm like, that's only been 3 months. And when I sit back and consider everything that I have accomplished, that's a lot. That's
That's
a lot.
huge, Kim.
Yeah.
That's
And
huge.
and even if I hadn't, though, this is the part that I really was thinking about. Even if I hadn't accomplished anything, who says I should be further along by now? Do you know what I mean? Who says? Whose timeline am I measuring myself up to? I think we get these expectations in our head sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I still don't have clients, but in the last 4 weeks, I managed to be consistent with posting on social media. I have now a routine. That's good. I, yeah, and I also managed to get another interview in. I shared it already online with Tiff Berry from Sage Reality 11. She was just beautiful, that conversation around astrology, and I mean, she's just amazing, right? It was also, I mean, she's interested in astrology for a long time, but we also chatted a little bit about the business stuff, and maybe I transition over to the outlook of what I want to do in the next 4 weeks, because she was so inspiring. Can you imagine that she managed to grow her Instagram organically in 1 year? I'm not sure with how many people she started, but it was not 100 or so. So she really started only consistently posting videos since a year, and she grew her Instagram within a year to 12,000 followers.
Wow.
Isn't that
That's
amazing?
amazing. I hope she gave
Yeah.
you some tips and tricks and some of her tool bag there.
Oh, well, I mean, she's just like, well, you need to find your voice and do it and do the work. So, yeah, that will be a challenge as Outlook, I put on myself. Yeah, that I want, because I really don't like making videos. But I see that it's a good tool, because then people get to know me a little bit, get familiar with my style, can build up some trust. So I see the value of it. It's just so far out of my comfort zone. I find it much more time consuming than regular posts.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, well, this is what it is. Yeah, now you need to do 100 videos. And if you, after 100 videos, still don't like it, you can stop it. But I challenge myself to do 100 videos. I mean, I will not be able to post daily, but I want to post twice per week videos.
Congratulations. That is such an amazing goal. And it's such a big step to make a commitment to yourself like that. So I'm going to make a little
Yeah.
note. I'm going to hold you accountable in love, not in a pressury way, but
Yeah,
just,
and
helping
in German you have in German I found such a good expression. So bear with me while I try to find a translation. When you in sports you take a run up to something. Is that
Okay.
an expression? So I need to, or what would be the good expression?
Yeah, I'm trying. Tell me what it is more, and maybe I'll.
So, for example, when people jump into the sand, they take a run up until they jump into the sand.
Okay.
Is that the
Running
expression?
start. Get a running start at
Get a
some
running
point.
start. Okay.
Yes.
And
Or a
so
head
I need
start.
to get a psychological running start to make
Yes.
that step outside of my comfort zone. And I think we should also appreciate that this is real mental work,
Yes.
that this also needs some time. It doesn't have to, because everybody's like, oh, I'm procrastinating. No, you take the necessary time for you to prepare for that next step,
Yeah. Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. That makes a
Right.
lot of sense. I think for me personally, things started so quickly. I felt like I'm like on this step, trying to build the next step while things are coming at me. And so it was momentum, and it was good momentum. But I feel like now it's a little bit more of like, okay, I need to kind of regroup, take that mental break to get what's the
Cover your
next step, the
bases.
necessary.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I
To
get
make
that.
things scalable. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's also good at work. We call that's a good problem to have, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
And something you mentioned in your, oh no, maybe you start with what's the outlook for you for the next 4 weeks.
Oh, next
I
four
mean, we
weeks.
touched upon it already a little
Yeah,
bit, right? That you want
yeah.
to consolidate a little bit, that you have that seminar coming up next week.
Yeah, so that's the big thing, is to get that behind me. And I've got to keep myself accountable. So now I'm writing some notes for myself of what I'm going to do. But I've been blessed to have, I think, maybe a total of, this is maybe my fifth interview, and I haven't had made the time, had the time, what have you. Other things have taken priority, but I haven't really marketed them on my social media as much as I would like to, because we've had amazing conversations, and I want to use that in my content. And it's just one more thing. So I'm writing it down on my social, on my to-do list right now here for me. So that's part of it. Um, Work on my website some more. I really want to have more time to get testimonials out there. And um, I'll give a little
I mean,
sneak
she
peek.
has a good problem. She has the testimonials already. She just needs to get them online, you know?
Oh, good to me. Thank you so much for being so good to me all the time. Um, what was I going to say? Oh, I have something, a really great idea. Kind of talk like what you're talking about doing the videos. I've had this idea for a while, and so I'll sneak peek it here, but I'm not going to necessarily hold myself accountable for the next 4 weeks, but I'm going to like start dipping my toes into to prepare and get the next necessary steps ready. I want to do like transformation Tuesdays and wellness Wednesdays. So videos on Tuesday unpacking, here's the lie. And then here's, for me, coming from a Christian scriptural perspective, but here's the lie. And then here's the truth and the scriptures to back it up. And then on Wednesday, Wellness Wednesday, do more of, maybe tie the Tuesday information into Wednesday, or possibly even have it just be like grounding or sunshine or neuroscience, tangible things that people can learn and take away and implement into their life. So that's something that makes me really excited. It feels a little daunting because, again, it's like you've committed to the 100 videos. If I'm going to name something, it's Transformation Tuesday or Wellness Wednesday. So I've got to be prepared and have it ready and click
Yeah,
go.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds so simple, but then again, have really curated posts that
Yeah.
live up to Transformation Tuesday and Wellness Wednesday is a
Yeah.
different thing, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is. I've printed out some things like for a quarter ideas and things, but then it's sitting down and, like you said, curating that post. And for me, like I have tons of just videos I've taken on my phone, but then I've not gone back and made the time and effort to, all right, let's go through them, let's edit them, let's polish them. And maybe part of that is the lesson for me, is it doesn't have to be perfect. Just get it out there. People will take what they need to from it, and let that be that. But there's also a certain level of professionalism that I want to bring to this space.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
balance.
It's a balance because I also find that, especially with posts and videos, a lot of it comes then later from experience anyway, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
um, the amount of stuff you sweat out the
But the
it's
small
good. I
things,
like I like it to sweat out the small stuff, but you can also sweat the wrong small stuff, right?
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, because there is I mean, we both take this serious and we both want to show our business excellence and the care that we put into this. So we need to find out what is the small stuff we actually really should sweat.
yes, yes, exactly. Well, so what about you? What does the next 4 weeks look like for you?
So the next 4 weeks will be like, yes, sit down and get going on the videos. And we already spoke about it privately because I will venture out into a different branch. And it's because I will be my own best client, because here where I live, we have a lot of pedicure services, but nobody does medical pedicure. And I'm prone, because I step my toes all the time and walk barefoot in the sand, I really need someone who can do medical pedicure. That's why in November I will take a course for this. And it's really cool because everybody I'm talking to is like, well, this could be actually a really cool, unusual entry funnel product for your HIP stuff.
Yeah. I,
So,
I think it's
yeah.
brilliant. And for the people that may be watching and don't know what exactly a medical pedicure involves, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Oh, it can be, I mean, if you have severe cracked heels, for example, people with
Mm.
diabetes need to be really careful. They can't go to a regular pedicure person. Um, I mean, elderly people, it gets a little bit gross talking about it. You know, if you
Yeah.
have corns and stuff like that, ingrown toenails, yeah. So
Well, if you think,
this
oh,
is
sorry,
where
go ahead.
medical pedicure comes in. It goes beyond the beauty pedicure, and you work also under different hygienic standards. So I mean, I will have a little autoclave then to really, yeah, sanitize, sterilize the tools I'm using.
That's
Yeah.
amazing because if you think about it, well, I guess that's the point. Not many people probably do think about it unless they have that problem. And then I mean, your feet are everything. I mean, it's how you get around from moment to moment.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
think about it until you have a problem. And
Yeah.
then you wouldn't necessarily know where to go. So I think that's amazing. Yeah.
And actually, I mean, everybody who's listening to this and is looking for a job, these people are sought after. At least
Mm,
in Germany, I mean, I know so many people who can't get an appointment and have real issues with their feet.
yeah.
Yeah, so this is an absolute niche. Yeah.
That's so cool. How did you find it?
How did I find what exactly? The idea or
Well, I guess both. The idea of that, because I didn't even know that was a thing. And then secondly, the actual course that you can take.
Yeah, I found the course online. There are several schools in Germany offering this, and you can specialize in things like ingrown toenails. So there are dedicated courses where you go deeper in care for the elderly, in care for children as well.
Mhm,
You can
mhm.
also help people with hallux valgus, for example. If you want to treat people with diabetes, you need to have a specialization for it.
Yeah.
And I mean, in my family, although I come from a working class background, but my parents always were very particular when it came to foot care. So it was
Mm,
a thing already in our family that my dad regularly visited a medical pedicure person, for example. So I was familiar with it already from that point. But I thought it's like, I mean, you can become a podologue, you know, when you do also the inserts for shoes, for example. And in Germany, at least, that's a 2 years training. But a medical pedicure person, I mean, the courses go from 5 to X days. Yeah.
yeah. That's so
Yeah.
cool. And that's in November.
That's in November.
All right. That's exciting. You'll have to keep us posted.
Yes. Yeah. So that's our so we covered the look back, we covered the outlook, and there were, I think, I'm not sure if you have a few other things you wanted to talk about, but I have three things I maybe want to mention. How about you? We didn't prepare a particular teaching for today.
Yeah. No, I don't, unless something comes to me as we're talking. Well, you go ahead and share yours, and then if I feel like mine's relevant toward the end, I can hop it on there depending on time.
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, I really also need to properly digest them, but I stumbled over three really cool Instagram posts, and one ties into what you mentioned about Wellness Wednesday.
Hmm.
It was that one woman talking about, she was African American, and in order to make money for her science degree, she worked as a stripper back then.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, well, of course I needed to be representable. Of course I needed a beautiful body. Of course I needed my hair to get done. Of course I needed my nails look beautiful. But this was not wellness. This was
Mm-hmm.
not self-care. This
Hmm.
didn't nourish me. This was just pure maintenance, you
Yeah.
know? And the way she broke it down I mean, it's a very particular character, that woman, but it was like, yeah, we really need to be careful. And it's also something that Jennifer mentioned a lot of times. Like, when was the last time you really felt nourished? And when was the last time you really played? You
Hmm.
know, like me, I went to the osteopath today. Yeah, of course, this was nourishing, but no, on the other hand, it was 90% maintenance as well.
Yes. Well, same thing with you, somebody that goes to get a massage. Like, yeah, it might look like self-care, but really is it because they've had an injury and so it's like a painful massage because they're trying to work on that muscle.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, of course, it's nice to get a mani-pedi, but I mean, she really needed it for work. But then again, do I find that nourishing? So it gave me a think as well,
Yeah.
to, hey, what actually really nourishes me?
Hmm.
To be honest, I always had a little bit of difficulties getting around the concept of what being playful, what Jennifer taught us.
Yeah.
That was not so accessible to me, but coming from that angle of what really nourishes me,
Hmm.
I found that helpful.
Yeah. I like that. And it really causes you to pause and really unpack that and think about that a little bit more deeply because that's an interesting. Yeah, I had no idea where you were going with this when you talked about this woman was a stripper. I'm like, oh, Patricia, where are we going with this? Yeah, that absolutely is relevant because
And it's
it,
also for every woman, Kim.
yes,
What is
yes,
expected from us? I mean, I live in a very low-key area. I work online. I don't, I mean, we run around, no one looks at you if you run around in a wet bikini and just put over a little dress or whatever. You
yeah,
get away with
yeah,
it here.
yeah,
But still, as a woman, it's expected from you that your hair is well maintained.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, so many things are expected, especially from us women, I find,
Hmm.
where
Yeah.
you're like, well, this is not wellness, this is maintenance.
Hmm. Yeah. Ooh, that would be a good post, Patricia, on your
There you
videos.
go.
Just like what is the difference? What is nourishment? What is wellness?
There you have something for your Wellness Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that it would fit for both of us. So I'm gonna write it
Yeah.
down for me. Wellness versus maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was one post. And, as we were talking, that's something I'm already practicing since a few weeks already. And that's why I also find our monthly check-ins here so valuable to really celebrate progress. I know that a lot of people swear by having a gratefulness journal, a gratefulness routine. But I find having noting down progress is much better for my brain.
Ooh, I like that.
Even if it's only the small things. I mean, we spoke about it the last 2 days. I had a headache, so I was not able
Mhm.
to do my morning routine. But this morning I was back on it and I noted it down in my calendar. I just make little bullet points,
Yeah.
and just take that time to think about the small stuff, to think about the little progresses I do. And yeah, well, it was 15 minutes meditation and 2 rounds of tapping EFT, but that's like, if you do that daily, it's just so good for you, right? And then
Yeah.
coming back or after a sickness, for example, and being able to go back into your routine and be like, well, okay, I really needed that time. I really could not do my usual routine, but now I'm back on it. That's progress. That's real progress. For
Yes.
me, at least, to having that. Usually, when I fall off the wagon, with the habits I want to build, um, it takes me a while to recover, but this time it was so much more easier. And I think it's because it's not even about being accountable for it. It's that I'm not writing it down to hold myself accountable for it. I write it down to have the evidence that I'm progressing.
Yes. Yes. That that is so profound. And it to me that resonates so much because what I was talking about earlier about that lie that I should be further along than I am right now. But then I stopped and started thinking about what all I've accomplished, but what all has been going on in my personal life. Like I wasn't gonna, I don't want to get into all the nitty gritty, but like my husband had been sick and I had gotten sick. And so there's just a lot of just stuff, life stuff going on. And so it's like, oh no, give myself some grace. And so if I had been like you writing things
Yeah,
down, I would have
yeah.
just had it more readily available.
And it doesn't have to be a big journal, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
people, me included, we get so like turned off from journaling. It can be simple bullet points.
Well, while we're kind of shifting, I'll maybe hop in with the thing that I was going to say because it kind of lends itself naturally to the conversation we're having. So I mentioned that I had been sick. It was really interesting because my husband picked up something from work, brought it home. I started having symptoms. And so I like started speaking over like myself, just like, no, I am a healthy person. Everything that's not in alignment with health does not have permission to stay, right? Just like kind of releasing things that way. And then I did some other just kind of self-care tools that I know to do. I felt better the next day. Like and I was so proud of myself because I had that training for Theorafa coming up. And I'm like, I cannot be sick. I need to be well in order to do this. Well, then I think it was the day before the training, I was having a conversation with another HIP graduate, and a conversation got into some content from when I was younger, and just it was an emotionally charged content conversation. Would you believe that the next day I started having symptoms again of the sickness? I was fine. And then all of a sudden I started having symptoms again. I did a
Mm.
session on myself and I tracked it down to the emotion that I was talking about in the conversation with our fellow student. So in other words, that emotion that had been kind of dredged up again, and the emotional charge that it had kind of allowed an opening for my system to be a little bit more weak, and so that illness could kind of take hold again. And it took hold with a vengeance because then I had the training and my body was worn down and my system was worn down. But I guess the point is just how impactful emotions are to our health and well-being. And so we have got
Hmm.
to be mindful about our emotions and tending to our emotions, whether they're in the moment or even if it's kind of through the work that we do, going back and helping release trapped emotions from previous time, because that's what it was in this situation. It was
Yeah,
trapped emotion from previous. Yeah.
yeah. And also never forgetting, like, okay, where do I want to take this emotion? What's the goal?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's also something where I'm like, what I really love about our work is that it's not about healing. I mean, you can heal everything and nothing. You can be really stuck in a healing loop. But what's the point of healing?
Yes.
What is the end goal? You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, how do I want the future to look like? How do I want to be this different?
Mm-hmm.
So then it's more about like where is this leading me to? So it's more about the future, the goals I have in mind for me, instead of always being focused on the past and the healing. Because guess what? What will you manifest? More healing.
Yes. Yes.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Well, and I think that that's part of the reason why in the HIP work that we do, helping the clients refine the goal into a positive rather than just, oh, I want to stop, XYZ, reframe that
Yeah.
into a positive. So not only that your subconscious can kind of get on board with that, but to your point, have something to look forward to for the future. Aim the client in a direction rather than just looping in that cycle of healing.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. And this also ties into that. I need to figure it out again. She's a philosopher, and she just, that principle of manifestation, of confirmation bias and so on. She
Mhm.
expressed it so beautifully. It's like we already know that antenna principle, what you send out, you will receive again.
Yes.
So how can you shift your intention to, and how can you find evidence of the future you want for yourself already in the now?
That's a big question. That's powerful to think on that and bring your attention to that.
Yeah, and she had such a brilliant way of phrasing it, that it's because the big changes you want for yourself happen in small steps, happen
Yeah.
through that little progress we are
Yes.
holding ourselves here, for example,
Yeah.
accountable to. That's why I
Yeah.
also love that progress diary so much, that
Yeah.
progress tracking so much.
Yeah.
Does all of that make sense?
Absolutely, it does. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said you had a third one? Did you have
Yeah, that
three?
was the third
Oh,
one, that
that was the
philosopher
third
who
one.
had
Okay.
that brilliant
Yeah.
because she was like, well, you want to have big change, you want to have see big results, but the reality is, if you're focused on what you're not having right now and what you want,
Mhm.
or when you focus on the wanting part because you don't have it yet, guess what you manifest? You manifest more wanting, more
Yes.
wishing.
Yes. Yes. A friend of mine, and I'd heard this book before, but I had not gotten it, but she recommended a book called Atomic Habits. And it kind
Yes,
of,
yes,
yes,
he's
okay.
brilliant.
So,
He's
so
brilliant.
I've started, I don't know, a couple chapters into it. It seems really good so far, but kind of along those same lines, it's like, you don't get from where you are to where you want to be by like, okay, here's where I want to be. It's back it up again. What steps you have to take, those small incremental steps that will over time land you where you want to be. I've heard it expressed like if you're in a 1% principle. So like if you're in a plane or even a car and you change the trajectory by 1 degree, you're going to end up, if your destination is New York, you could end up in, Wisconsin just by changing it 1 degree. It's going to be significantly different. Negative
Yeah.
or positive, right? Yeah. So it's,
Negative or positive. And I wanted to make a point about that. I love it also because it's really very goal oriented as well, this
mhm.
Atomic Habits. And yeah, again, sorry, it's really my thing these days, this progress.
Yeah. Yeah.
This and progress also in the sense of it's already progress if you can continuously. I think we spoke about this already in one business update. When we were yeah building habits and so on,
Yeah.
because consistency is also, if you can consistently do something, that's also amazing progress.
Yes, we did talk about that because I remember talking about that I wanted to be more consistent in my posting, and I have held myself accountable to that. I have posted every single day on social media, so that's that's a really big deal. Yeah, those small
It
consistent
is a
habits.
big deal.
Yeah,
It is a big deal, I find, Kim.
and because it also becomes more automatic. You don't have to, it doesn't require the same startup energy as it did previously because it's more of a habit now. Well, and I mean, we weren't going to go into brain patterns, but it kind of is the same thing, right? If we've got a subconscious pattern going that's on autopilot, we don't have to think about it. It just happens. Like breathing, we don't have to think about breathing. It just happens. And so that can develop in the same way with habits. It just becomes a way of being rather than having
Second
to be
nature.
so intentional.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's good conversation. It's good to
I
catch up
loved
with you.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it so much. What do you feel? Do you think we can wrap up our business update for today? Is there anything we left out? Anything we could add? I'm
Well,
definitely
there's
proud
always
and
something we can add, right?
yes, yes, but I feel like very proud of us that we consistently show up and
Yes.
celebrate the small stuff we're sweating.
Yes. Yes. I'm proud of us too. And I think that it's a really big deal to take a moment just to recognize that we have come a long way and that we just finished the certification, May, June, July, depending on when our finals actually were. And here we are doing the thing, doing the work, helping people, making progress. Yeah, all good.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's always good to hang out with you, Patricia.